friends. Today I thought it'd be fun to do a little activity where we're going to make a giant cookie and we're going to decorate it. And in the meantime, we're going to work on a bunch of awesome fine motor skills. So this one does take a little bit of prep for parents. So if you could get a brown piece of construction paper and draw a circle on it, I just traced like a big bowl. And I made sure to use a dark marker so that the kids can see the line really well, because they are going to cut this circle out. And then another thing that you're going to need is some just strips of colorful paper. And I just did like 2 of each color, and mine are kind of short, so that if you had longer strips, then obviously you would not need so many. And I have 6 strips of colored paper, but again, it's not very vital that you get the right amount of paper. And then also just some white glue. So before we start, I wanted to do a little chit-chatting about scissors. So little kids' scissors are like this, but then there's also some adaptive scissors. If your kids have a hard time, especially if they have a hard time with this movement of opening it, it's kind of a hard thing to do with those muscles. Kids have a lot easier time squeezing it shut, but if they can't open it, there are these awesome spring scissors, and they have this little tab right here, and you fold the tab down, and then it keeps the scissors open, and so all the kid has to do is squeeze, and so then you can flip the tab, and they're normal scissors, but these are called spring scissors if you want to get some of those. They're pretty awesome. For an even lower functioning child that can't use their fingers quite yet, and they use like a big whole hand grasp, they can use these loop scissors. I know it's kind of scary to give your little kids scissors, but if you do it supervised, then it'll be okay. So these ones, they just get to squeeze with their whole hand. So that one works a little bit better. But for this project, I would recommend it for like preschool age group. So I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting. Now, when we're cutting, we always want our thumb on top, but we also want our helper hand to be holding the paper with our thumb on the top. One thing that this also helps is our bilateral coordination. So kids have to use both their hands, and their hands are doing different functions right now. So it's really good neurologically as well as physically to help them with that. All right, my circle is cut out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strips, and we're just going to snip, 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 snip. Now, parents, maybe you might have to help the kiddo cut out their cookie, but I've found a lot of kids can do this motion right here. It's just a small little snip. That's why our paper is so narrow. They won't get stuck. So after we have a bunch of little squares cut out, then we're going to work on our finger strength, and we're going to just crumple them up. So crumple them. I like them to use their fingers. I'm also using both hands instead of just one hand, again with bilateral coordination and finger movements, finger dexterity. Do you like how I'm just dropping everything? Just drop it, just make a mess, right? All right, now that I have a few little pieces of paper, I'm gonna dab the glue on here. Now I know that a glue stick is way cleaner and easier than white glue, but I really like making the kids use white glue because they have to control their hands a lot more. They have to learn the control of how much glue. Some kids will use way too much, and kids that aren't as strong will use way too little. This is also really good for hand strength, for squeezing those fingers together. So I just went ahead and put a bunch of dots of glue on my paper, and then I'm gonna stick my little folded up pieces of squares onto my cookie. So go ahead and decorate your cookie all around. If you really want to get crazy, you can grab a marker and have the kids color things on it. But for now, that's our activity for today. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day. See ya.